with Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of today's show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin.
Robin, are we on? All right, fantastic. Well, welcome to this very special, amazing show, which is going to focus on shining the light on the shadows. We're going to talk about those shadows. We're going to talk about those yucky, dirty, terrible things that we do to ourselves and to others, and why we do that, and what we can do about that. So, that being said, one of my favorite quotes from a long time ago, I think it came from the Civil War times, perhaps, is, and I might not say this the right way, but the concept is somebody asked a famous bank robber at the time before they were to take care of them, why did you do this? Why are you robbing banks? And the answer is, well, that's where the money is. So this is the simple concept: is why do we do things that we do, even though they're not good for us, or just plainly spoken, they're terrible. So what are some of the bad things? What are some of the terrible lifestyle decisions that we take on? Smoking. How many people out there smoke? Now, feel free to raise your hand. If you do, again, it does not make you a bad person. But I just want you to ask yourself, are you familiar with the concept of what it does to your body? Are you aware of all those things? And actually, before I go do anything else, I do want to make sure I very properly would have been to do this from beginning. Introduction of my co-host and also the most amazing, Lendi Shealy-Sorin, my wife, and also she plays many factors in our professional and personal lives, and she has a background in social work as well as multiple courses in humanity. We both took NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and lots of other modalities that we apply in our practice and otherwise. And so there's a lot of wisdom that exists in this young lady's being, and I'm going to be asking her to contribute and jump in as we go along, from her personal experiences, but also professional experiences as well. So without further ado, I would like to jump back into the concept and the talk. Why do we do the bad things that we do? Let's take smoking, for example. Folks, this is interesting, but it's also fascinating. Instead of beating yourself up or saying, yeah, I should quit, and question is, why are you actually doing it? What's the actual reason? What's the logic in your mind, in your being, that says, hey, I'm going to buy this expensive stuff, cigarettes, spend money that I don't necessarily even have, and it's going to give me maybe terrible teeth, bad lungs, cancers of all sorts. The list of terrible things goes on and on and on. So why would a person continuously take a cancer stick, so to speak, and just put it in their lips and just keep on doing it? And again, by the way, I'm not saying this in a way that I'm not saying anybody's a bad person. What I'm just emphasizing is a bad habit. But that bad habit is there for a reason. It serves a purpose. Do you remember from NLP? We actually took that course together. Every single person does their best at any given time.
It's to cope with. And hi, everyone. Thank you for having me back. Yes, like we learn in NLP, is people would do this is just it's a way of coping. It's not because you are addicted of how can I tell it. It's different type of addiction. Okay, a lot of people you see only drugs as an addiction, but actually a lot of people has a lot of ways of being addictive. Like people love to do exercise. And a lot of people do 3 hours a day or more, and it's good for them because you will have an amazing body. But when you overdo something, it becomes an addiction.
Yep, and actually, addictions. Speaking of the word addiction, I'll say this jokingly, but I do mean it's quite seriously as well. Everyone has an addiction to something. And whether it's smoking, alcohol, substances, whether it be food, whether it be relationships, could be toxic or beautiful relationships. I can honestly say I am absolutely addicted to this young lady right here. Uh, I feel terrible when I miss her. In other words, there's a withdrawal and there's all sorts of stuff. So, and I feel really great when I'm with her. So the bottom line is, we all have addictions. Those addictions can serve positive or negative purposes. And if it's
Exactly.
negative,
Exactly. Negative addiction is the ones are seen as a bad behavior or something that is not seen good in a society. But you can have an addiction again, like I would say, eating sugar, all the sweets. People eat a lot of, sweet stuff. That's part of being addicted. You like sugar, or you like to overdo exercise, or you like to, I don't know, maybe just.
well, there's all sorts of addictions. There's,
Exactly, please stop it.
I mean, there's sex addictions. There's
Oh yes, definitely.
there's gambling addictions. There's all
Yes.
sorts of stuff.
Oh, in social media, that
Oh my,
definitely is an
yeah,
addiction.
social media is an addiction,
Yes.
and it's
And
a
and you see that now, actually, believe it or not, you see this on the kids right now, and our young kids. Parents, as much as they try their best. What is the first thing kids get as a babysitter? What do you think it is? It's the phone. Your phone is the first thing that we give it to our kids. Why? Because it keeps them busy, just playing game, video, entertaining, no matter the age. Right now, as a parents, is the easy thing that we have in our hands. Just please, let's give it to the kid, and the kid will be quiet and be in their corner doing whatever. And we forgot what is the real things of values that we can give it to our kids. And actually, that's part of when I work. I love it. I work with pregnant moms and newborn babies, and actually that's one of the things that right now we have in a society is the kids being the parents being too much on the phone, and when they go to the park, and the kids being playing around, and the parents so distracted, the kids actually, some people has done some type of research, just taking their kids from the playground outside, and the parents don't notice until maybe 10-20 minutes.
oh
I
my
don't know if you
god.
have seen those videos, but I have seen those, and it's very bad. Parents going to the park with the kids, but they not playing with their kids. They're on the phone, and the kids playing alone in their in the park,
And actually,
in the
if you
playground. Mhm.
and if you look at the social situation, I mean, you're talking about parties. In our age, and again, we're not that old, but it's well, Generation X. But the a party means that people can come together, gathering company, energy, communication, things, games, physical activities. Uh, Now lately, basically a party is a bunch of phones plugged in and people sitting around not talking to each other, and basically who the hell knows what they're doing there to begin with. I mean, but the addictions again, back to addiction. Why do we do that? Why would a person go to social media and literally allow that to take over their world or become a virtual world at the expense of the real world? By the way, there's a folks, be very careful and watch out for all this new development with metaverses and or what do you call that? Well, Mark Zuckerberg, I think, is converting the company into literally a virtual meta something meta world. The danger in that environment is when everything becomes unreal, when everything literally takes on over, and the reality becomes unreality, and people are literally walking around with visors, basically bumping into vehicles in real life, not paying attention to what they're doing. I don't care what they call that meta thing. Or it's death. It's literally the death of imagination. It's the death of our existence, and it's literally trading one reality for another. Except in that reality, there's one person at the controls, and that's whoever controls that social media platform. And if you trust them, God bless. If you don't, again, there's the real world. But in the real world, there's also things. Alcohol, for example, and I do want to say something. Alcohol serves a purpose. Actually, a cup of alcohol a day, a good wine, can lower blood pressure, can improve life duration, life quality. But in anything other than moderation is terrible. In other words, it damages the liver, it does so many other things, but alcohol is a relaxant. And again, instead of telling somebody who is an alcoholic, or instead of just feeling bad about why a person drinks alcohol and saying, okay, well, I did it again, oops. I think it's a Britney song. Oops, I did it again. I think that was a while ago. Yeah. So why do we keep oops doing the things again? Why do we do that? Why do we repeat the same mistakes? We have to start learning the lessons, not just beating ourselves up. That's what that is, and that's taking ownership. Why do we do that?
But sometimes it takes what it is awareness. To be awareness of what you do in it, because example, if I make a big mistake once, it's okay because I'll learn from that one. And if I do it again, okay, I better know because I already make that mistake, And the third time, I catch myself. Okay, I catch myself the third time making the same mistake, and then is the moment when I break it. So you have to be aware of yourself. Not everybody is aware of ourselves. We are aware of our neighbors or the social media, but we are not aware of our own selves, and that is when we don't know our body. You understand? And that's when people get so sick because you don't know your body. We don't know our body.
One of my favorite books, and there's a wonderful quote in there. I open it up every morning or every evening when I get a chance, and it literally goes back from great thoughts of the last 30 centuries. In other words, 3,000 years. And it's amazing how these concepts have come down the line of amazing thinkers, and we're still the same humanity with the same issues and the same problems and same concepts. One of the earliest things that has come around is, and I don't want to say who said that, but the quote goes, "Know thyself." This is several thousand years old. Know thyself. If you don't know who you are, if you don't understand your own being, how do you interact with the outside world? In other words, if you, this is what
you
Lendi,
cannot give what you don't have.
Yes.
You have to have it yourself to be able to give it to others. So you have to have the trust. You have to have the responsibility. You have to have the values. You have to have that knowledge to be able to give it. You have to love yourself to be able to give that. If you don't know how to love you, you're not able to love others. It's just that.
Yes, and yes.
I don't know what to say here, but honestly, to me, I think that's what it works. If we know ourselves, you can be good to others.
And that's exactly it. Mm-hmm. Now, people who don't have that social, personal support structure or relationship with a higher power, or just knowing that I am okay, if you don't have that, if you don't know that, you're going to turn to external fixes. If you don't have it within you, you're going to see if you can find it on the outside, in this water bottle, or in that phone, or in that substance, in that cigarette, which will actually make you feel better because of the receptors.
It helps us to cope.
Yes. Alcohol, it's a wonderful substance in terms of the chemical composition, what it does to the nervous system in moderation.
Same thing that nicotine. That's why people smoke, because that nicotine, it makes you feel, it gives you what your body is missing, and actually people are missing that part of your brain.
Exactly. But let's talk about some other things. A lot of people talk about drugs, war on drugs, and everything else. Why do people do drugs? There's uppers, in other words, and I don't approve of, like I said, I don't personally approve of people, just taking things, and that's not healthy for you, or using it for the wrong purpose. But for instance, amphetamines, or illegal or illegal, there's things like, cocaine. There's things of all sorts of nature, that the bath salts. I mean, I deal with all that stuff in the emergency room all the time. Why do people continuously do that? Even especially some of those that are basically end up almost dying. I mean, opioid addicts, for example, heroin, and I literally would save a young man's life from, he blew in the lips, not breathing, completely shut down his own respiration, and then he signs out against medical advice as soon as he's awake and alert, and then he comes back to the same place to see me within my 12-hour shift for the same thing, again, nearly dead. How many brain cells are left there? I don't know. So I'm just, again, but let's step back and let's not judge that person yet. Let's ask, why is this person doing it? Because there's
How
a part.
old is the person?
Now, this was a 19-year-old young man.
Very young.
But there's also a history of sexual, physical, and otherwise abuse. There's a history of multiple psychiatric comorbidities that he accumulated, and so on and so forth. So where's the root cause? What's causing all this? And if you were to deal with all this underneath, maybe there wouldn't be a need to resort to a substance such as heroin to feel relief from pain. Maybe if a person has what we have on the inside, maybe if we acknowledge and realize who we are and that God doesn't make junk. We are whole, absolute beings. We're beautiful, we're amazing, we're powerful. We just don't utilize our potential. And we tend to think that we need these external things for happiness, for satisfaction, for pleasure. That's where the addictions come in. Food. Let's talk about carbohydrates. People who eat junk. Carbohydrates give you serotonin. Serotonin makes you feel good. There's a physiological reason for all that, folks. We do things for a reason, but maybe there's another way. Consider, for example, that you feel good without eating bad things and you still look good, you feel good, you function good, and you're taking care of yourself. But you got to have something instead of that to make sure that you are okay.
So knowledge. What we need to know is knowledge. A lot of people don't know. We grow like this, in our society, but we don't know that is, an issue that we have. Like, let's see, we have kids, and our kids eat a lot of cereal and carbs, and bread and tortilla and potatoes, anything that has to be, spaghetti, anything that has to do with carbs is sugar. They don't know this because, we eating this that is salty, or it's pasta that is salty. But in the end, what that's, the carbohydrate is that it becomes sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
But the problem is our kids, they don't know this.
Yes.
They don't know. Sometimes the parents don't know this. So it's education. We need to educate them. We eat this amount of sugar for the day, so maybe we don't eat dessert. If we eat dessert, let's eat, it's just balance. Everything is balance. That's where it comes. And one thing that you were talking about, 19 years old guy,
Yeah.
he's so young, and I have our daughter, she's 24, our niece is 17. It's very sad, that we have all these young kids actually going through a lot of problems right now. And maybe you're going to see it more because these 2 years the kids has been inside of the house. How they have coped these 2 years being just in their house, their social life has been different. So right now you're going to see maybe much more of these issues. Just be aware. And I just want to just say a message to all the ladies that I'm, seeing through or listening to us is, ladies, women, please pay attention. When we raise our kids, if we're raising a boy, that's what we're raising, just a man. But when we're raising a woman, we're raising, a woman that is going to be a mother. And the mother she's going to raise a family. So just please, let's give our kids good values and good morals and good knowledge foundation. So in that way, we can have good families for the future. Remember, men's are men's, but we as the woman, we the one raise the family. So let's have that, please. Just don't forget your values. Remember your grandparents and your parents, what good stuff they teach it to you. So that's why you are the amazing woman, the amazing human being right now, because of all those values, all the good things that you learned on the past. So please pass it to your girls, because those are the ones when the future families are coming. That's my opinion.
Thank you for sharing. Lendi is very passionate, and so is everyone in our office, including myself specifically, about
please,
empowerment.
Will you mind sending a
Oh, yes. And speaking of the amazing women, by the way, and by the way, every woman is a goddess. I've got one sitting here next to me.
Thank you.
Robin, don't forget you're one as well, please.
Yes, Robin.
Okay. Same to all the ladies out there. All right. So I just want to say thank you. We have a few minutes, and I want to say just sincere and utmost gratitude for everyone in our office who are helping all the folks that we work with. Lindsay has been with us for a number of years. Thank you for all your assistance, all your everything you do. I mean, it's a lot. You do the work of many people. So God bless. Of course, now we have our wonderful, wonderful nursing staff. So Jeriel, who is going to be having a baby of her own coming up soon. So welcome. Hopefully not yet, but when the time comes for the baby to come.
In a week.
Yeah, or so.
Just ready.
Don't rush. It's okay. Take your time. It's it's good to do things properly on that end. The amazing young lady who is just takes care of everything, coordination of services and making sure everything is proper. We also have another amazing nurse, Kyla, who joined our team. She's been incredible with us, holistic, wonderful. Rachel works in the front desk, and I want to just huge thanks. She has become my personal coach, and she's actually working on a PhD. She's real close she's a doctor almost, really, of lifestyle and nutrition and all these things. So she is a huge part of the coaching and a huge part of our community and practice, and wonderful person to have around. And of course, I want to say thank you to the one and only Tracy. She has been taking care of the store, the orders, realholisticdoc.com. And she's the one who's basically making sure everything is all good and proper. And Tracy, tremendous appreciation and respect for all you do. And thanks. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah. Also, of course, great thanks to our online and marketing folks.
Yes.
Matt and Liz. Matt, you know who you are. Liz, you know who you are. And of course, the rest of the team. Love you guys. Helping us, spread the word. Yep, Robin is telling us we got about 2 minutes. So, yeah, Matt and Liz, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
I do want to, before we go to commercial or or a break, I should say, I do want to say, if you're not on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, join us, because there's a lot of material, a lot of stuff, archives, everything. And plus, we keep talking into the, while the radio is not on, and after the radio as well. So it's a lot of material, a lot of good quality stuff. And if I have a little bit of time, I do want to mention our friends and supporters of the holistic cause, Spring Valley Natural Foods. Wonderful place, wonderful service, and they carry all of our favorites. Dr. Shealy's Essentials, Youth Formula, Magnesium, Bliss Oils, everything. Great people. Whatever you need, you'll find it there. And last but not least, if you don't get your 8 servings of fruits and veggies a day, make sure at the very least you have your tart cherry juice concentrate. Great for cholesterol, great for inflammation, tastes good, and make sure that you get your antioxidants and supplements and vitamins in the nutrition that you need. We're about there. Okay, fantastic. We'll see you after. Yep. Are we back? Facebook Live. All right, folks. Hello, and great to have you. Now, Robin, I do want to take a minute or so just to any comments, any thoughts, any people saying hello from questions.
We have a couple of hellos. We have a hello from Reno, Nevada.
Yes.
And a hello from New York.
Wonderful. New York has been consistently paying attention. I like that. Yeah.
Just a couple of thank yous, but no questions.
All right. Great. Well, in that case, let's just continue talking. So second part of the show is going to be questions and interactive. So we'll take phone calls, any question whatsoever. So this is where I just want to say, and I'm glad to have this wonderful, amazing young lady with me to talk about this as well. The idea of how do we take all those vices? how do we take all those things that we do for a certain purpose, in other words, whether to relax or to just literally make it through the day, and how do we ask ourselves? This is not so much a question, it's a statement, but I'm asking it in a question format to stimulate your interest. I'm giving away my NLP tricks here. How do you actually get to the place that you'll ask yourself, how do I do better? What are the tools and options out there for me? What can I do to replace the need for smoking, for alcohol, for substances, for uppers, for downers, for food, for sugar, for junk, for social media, for how do I replace the need for all of that? And the answer is actually real simple. We talk about it all the time. The idea and the concept of the holistic blueprint, it's not a brand new concept. It's been around ever since the creation. We're just reminding people of what that is. And what is it? Spirit, soul, this is who we are. We come down to this place to do something wonderful, to make a difference, to make the world a better place, to enjoy, to learn. Well, sometimes there's pain, sometimes there's pleasure, sometimes there's all sorts of stuff, but we are learning and we're going. If we're not learning, we keep repeating the same mistakes. It becomes punishment. We have to start learning and paying attention. If something keeps hitting us in the head in the same spot, what is it? Why is it doing it? What can you do to make it to not do that? In other words, what's a different outcome? What are your tools? Autogenic training, biogenics, self-regulation, retraining, literally regaining control of who you are at a moment's notice. We got everything right here. That's all you need, literally. If that's all you did, you would be fine. Biogenicscourse.com. Literally used to be an $8,000 value, 2 weeks intensive in our facility, 40 hours a week, boot camp, and then go home. It's literally online for under $50. We're giving it away, but we're giving it away for a purpose, because we want to make the world a better place. And right now, the world is going crazy. So there we are. This is our contribution to the world. Please take advantage of that. Please. It's a gift, but it's just because it's free doesn't mean it's worthless. It's tremendous value. Think of it as an $8,000 course for your benefit at home, online, at your own pace. PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field device. We have actually demonstrated that in opioid addicts, people with ankle bracelets, those brains are basically generally fried as to general society. The recovery rate is about 17% at some of the best facilities. You've seen some of the cases, I'm sure. It's with your work and
I had.
crazy, yeah. Over 95%, and I think it's probably higher than that, success rate over 5-year running. Incredible. PEMF. We can talk about that again if we have more time. But also supplements. Make sure that in addition to good nutrition, our world is a poisoned world. It's a crazy world where we're missing magnesium, so you need magnesium topical. We need vitamin D3. You need good B complex, Dr. Shealy Essentials, if you have any questions on that. Vitamin C with MSM makes, creates the DHEA, anti-stress wellness hormone. So does magnesium, by the way. And just the very basics of life. Take care of yourself and the body will take care of you. Have a purpose. Now we're coming back in just a little bit, right? All right, we're jumping back in.
Now back to Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin.
And welcome back. And this is Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin with my co-host and a beautiful, amazing wife, Lendi Shealy-Sorin. And we are talking about shining light onto shadows. Why do good people end up doing bad things? And how do we do otherwise? So I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear any questions, concerns, successes, difficulties, challenges. Phone number is 417-447-1777. Would love to hear from you, even if it has nothing to do with habits or addiction. Any question under the sun. If we can answer it, great. If not, well, we'll look into it. So give us a call. In the meantime,
In the meantime, you were talking about when we were, out of in the radio.
mhm.
You were talking about what the things that people are missing. And,
Oh,
that's what they use these things
oh,
to cope.
yes, 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 yes. Okay, so let's just again, this may be a duplicate to some of the double information, but a quick, concise summary because we cover a lot of ground during the break. If you want to replace harmful, negative, bad habits, you got to have something else that's actually going to make you feel good in place and will be good for you. What are some of those good things? You've got to have the essential, the basic of self regulation, orogenic training, biogenics, biofeedback. Know thyself. If you know thyself, ultimately that's all you can need. But of course, the other things is society is actually poisoned in terms of and deficient in nutrients, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that we need to account for in order to be healthy, including a good B complex, Dr. Shealy Essential, for example, youth formula, vitamin C, MSM creates DHEA, magnesium, topical, not oral, topical, a lotion or cream. Uh, Most people are deficient. Another way to raise the DHEA by 60%, and vitamin D3, good basic for every single human, And if you have any other issues, then obviously you need more stuff. More stuff. We have a call, don't we? Okay, you are on the air. Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Um, my name is Marilyn,
Mhm.
and I've been trying to get in to talk to you for a little while now.
Oh, great.
It doesn't have anything to do with the show today, but it's regarding a blood test that I have taken, and it's called creatine kinase.
CK, yeah, creatine kinase, yeah.
Yes, and I've been testing very, very high since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a specialist about it, and they don't know what's causing it. And he also said, if I knew, I don't know what I'd do about it. So I'm asking you if you know about it.
Gotcha. First question I'm going to ask off the top, and this may be a long shot. Are you on any cholesterol or statin drug?
No.
Fantastic. That's the first place that I go to because those drugs are, well, that they cause that kind of stuff. Do you have any other? And please feel free not to share anything on the radio that's confidential. I mean, normally we would do a consultation, which is something. It's just a good idea anyway to go into more depth. But just in general, what other medical issues do you have all around? If I were to answer this in general terms.
Well, I've been diagnosed with lymphoma, but that was like 6 years ago. So this has been going on since probably a lot longer than 2009.
Gotcha.
And and I mean my muscles hurt a lot.
Yes.
And I've been using your magnesium now for about 3 months.
Good.
And I just got another test, the CK index test, a couple of weeks ago, and it's still like 400 and something when the range is the highest is 192. So,
yep, that's about right.
The magnesium makes my muscles feel better, but it's not fixing the problem.
No, this is to properly address this. We'll need we'll need a telephone call or in person. But I'll give you a couple of pointers in the meantime. But this really would take a consultation to really get into this because this is going to be at least an hour conversation. Well, we'll see. Hopefully not. But the telephone number to the clinic, Real Holistic Doc, is 417-351-5221. If you just engage again, we'll start talking. But please call to make an appointment. There's a bit of a waiting list, but if you let people know that we talked on the radio, if I have an opening, I would be interested in, of course, doing that for you. The couple of things come to mind, and I would want to see the other blood work and relations of other blood work, especially the renal functions, the liver functions, and the cardiac functions, because there's about 4 or 5 different sources of this that are more likely than others, and there's about 20 others that I can think of that would be less likely but potentially concerning. So that's just the beginning of the process. I am glad you are not stopping at this. We don't know what's going on, and we wouldn't be able to deal with it anyhow. It's time to take
Right.
action. Thank you. The magnesium lotion is definitely one thing. Make sure that you load up on vitamin D at the very
I
least. D as in David.
Okay.
50,000 units. You can go to our store. It's realholisticdoc.com. And vitamin D3, it's 50,000 unit. The boot camp or the loading dose is going to be you take 3 of those on day 1, 3 on day 2, 3 on day 3, 9 total in 3 days. And then you take 1 weekly. So that's that. And if you don't have a good B complex, make sure you take Dr. Shealy's essentials, or at least something with a B, most of the Bs, including B5, B6, at least 25 to 50 milligram dose. It's hard to find in that amount. So that's why I'm recommending what I know. And make sure you take the youth formula or an equivalent, vitamin C with MSM, 4 of those per day. That's a very good basic start, but PEMF would be another thing to highly suggest just off the top, because it can literally PEMF on the first setting, the scan can be the most helpful, I believe, from what I just my first gut feeling. But the other setting, the gamma for the brain, and that's the control center really, and also the delta for relaxation and reset at night, but also perhaps during the day, I would give that a go.
Okay, well, I'm doing everything you just suggested. I got your PEMF 3 months ago.
Yes.
And I sat with it probably 8 hours a day. I put it, in my office chair.
Wonderful.
So I'm doing that. Most of the time I have it on the sleep setting.
Wonderful.
And at night I put it under my pillow.
Yep. In the third or the delta, or do you use the sweep throughout?
Well, sometimes I use the middle one for anxiety.
Wonderful. Yeah, the gamma. That's great. Yeah, that's what we used it for addictions, for breaking the habits, but also for any kind of just brain stuff. Feel better. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really like it, and I've been buying the youth formula and all that kind of stuff now for several months.
You are already on a lot of good things. Let's continue. The best thing to do, and because this is radio is quite limiting in terms of how much time we have to talk. I would love to continue this conversation with a consultation. Have you already been seen by us in the clinic, or?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
but I have the number.
Yes, ma'am. I would love to hear from you, and definitely, at the very least, I would love to hear from you in approximately, in a week or so, next radio show. Just say hello.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, I try to get in, every week that I can.
Yes, ma'am. Well, okay. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Blessings. Yep. Do we have another call? Okay. Yeah. Hi. You're on the air.
Yes, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I have a question on